initial thoughts on the league overall?
Yeah, no, I loved it. I thought it was a great experience. From what I'd heard and just the different interactions that I had, it was just like pro ball, which is obviously the point of the league, right? It's to prepare you for professional baseball. Um, Black Bears were an awesome team to be with. Jed, Jake, all of them were just great mentors and coaches, and excited to get back up there for another year.
Nice. And you were talking a little bit about the league. What made you initially want to actually join the league?
Yeah, so I mean, just from a social media standpoint, we had heard from whether it was seeing on Twitter, Instagram, or even on TV, we'd heard about the league and knew that it was going to be some of the top talent in the country that was going to be going up there to compete. And that's what you want to do, right? You want to be able to go up there and compete against the best players and showcase your talents.
So you were a temp guy last time out. What made you change from being temp to full time?
Yep. So I was a temp originally, and then ended up going into a full, but I hit my innings limit, so I did have to leave with coming back to school. And then this year, I think just honestly don't know why I was a full guy this year. I'm guessing just because I did have the experience from last year is my best guess.
Gotcha. Were you one of the guys that were able to go to the combine last year?
I was, yeah. That was a really cool experience as well. Being able to go to the Pirate Stadium and see PNC and awesome skyline, which was really cool to see. Walking through those doors and stepping foot on a major league field for the first time is always cool. And you kind of look around and you're like, wow, like this is really cool. The way it was set up, going through all the different testing stations, everything like that was also a really cool experience. And I got the pleasure of actually throwing a bullpen there, so I could throw a bullpen in the big league park, which is pretty cool to say. And that was just an awesome experience as well.
Nice. I'm glad you got that experience.
Yeah.
So you were talking a little bit about the coaching experience that you had. What was it like? I know that you probably didn't have too much experience with Jed as much, more with our pitching coach. What was that experience like overall?
It was great. I actually did have quite a bit, obviously not as much on the hitting and positional side with Jed, but just from a overall game management standpoint and seeing how the game was played, I did have those conversations with Jed, and obviously being in the dugout, you hear a lot of that, and that filters down through Jake as well, right? So just having the experience there from the professional side of this is how we attack the game, this is how we attack the hitters, and just kind of getting that different viewpoint as opposed to always being on the amateur and the college side, especially right now. Two very similar games, but also very completely different games at the same time. So seeing those differences and similarities there was very cool.
Nice. And I don't know how many scouts you get down in Belmont, but what was the experience like getting, tons of scouts every single night to see you guys?
No, that was awesome. Just from a standpoint of because Belmont is a smaller mid-major school, even though we are in Nashville, right? We have Vanderbilt right on the road. So all the scouts are always watching Vanderbilt games and even Lipscomb games. So you'll get on a good day 4 or 5 there. If we're playing a team that has some guys as well. There's maybe one game last year where we faced a team that was at home that had, I think ended up being a third or fourth round draft pick out of our league. So we had quite a few guys there, but every night that we were playing for the most part in the draft league, it was, upwards of 10 to 15 scouts, which you just can't beat getting that visibility.
Definitely. So this is your technically 4th year, obviously because of COVID, it's your 3rd actual baseball season. Have you given any thought to maybe doing a 5th year at this point?
Yeah, no, I have not. So I'm actually getting married this summer.
Congrats.
Thank you. I'll be getting married right in the middle of that first half of the season. So I'll miss probably about a week of the season there to get drafted, but or to go get married. No, hopefully get drafted, but to go get married as well. So I'll go get married up around June, and then I'll head back down and play that last little bit before the draft. And then if I don't get a chance to get drafted, I'm just going to go ahead and come back for that second half of the season as well and play. But no, I don't think I'll be going back to college. I'll be married, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, congrats.
Thank
Man.
you. Thank you.
So I was looking at your profile on Belmont, and I saw that your favorite moment in your career was going to the Connie Mack World Series. Is that still your favorite moment? And if it is, can you talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, so I don't think that's been updated since my freshman year. Honestly, I think my favorite moment now in college and playing baseball has been both my summer ball experiences. So my freshman year, I didn't play summer ball because I had hit my innings limit, so they didn't send me out. But the COVID year, I was originally supposed to go to the Cape, which would have been an awesome experience. Was obviously really bummed that got shut down because of COVID. But I was actually blessed to be able to go and play for the Savannah Bananas, which is obviously a very unique experience with summer ball. Um, so seeing the difference between Bananas and how they approach baseball versus the Draft League now, which Draft League from a baseball perspective has been my favorite baseball experience so far. Just being able to go in there every day, and it's just like professional baseball. I mean, we all love baseball for up there, and we want to play at the next level. And you're doing baseball day in and day out for a lot of the day, which is obviously what we're there to do and have fun doing. So being able to see kind of a different view on college baseball as opposed to school ball is very cool, and getting opportunities to meet people. Whether it's Jed and Jake and the coaching staff there, or whether it's the different players I've interacted with. I mean, my roommate last year ended up getting drafted by the Dodgers in the 10th round, and just a great friend and great dude who I'll continue to have conversations with all the time, and just a good contact to have for sure.
I mean, you can't bring up the Savannah Bananas without really going into it. I mean, talk about that a little bit.
It was wild. So I mean, obviously they have a huge social media presence, and people see a lot of the crazy stuff that they do.
Definitely.
It was a little bit different during COVID because there was obviously some restrictions on how we could and couldn't interact with fans, and the stadium was only allowed to be at half capacity. Now, only being at half capacity for them is still like 2,500 people every night we were playing, which was I'd never played in front of that many people. Belmont, we maybe draw on a good day, we'll be close to drawing 200 people. So it's a little bit definitely a different experience there. Some of the stuff we did was crazy. I mean, I got to pitch in a kilt, which sounds crazy, but in 100-degree heat, it's pretty nice whenever you're in, get a nice airflow through there. But like I said, it's just what people don't understand sometimes is that they see all the crazy stuff and they think that's what the focus of it is, and that is what the focus is from like the front office and the marketing side of it. But like our coaching staff does a great job there as well of separating the antics, I guess you could say, from the baseball side. I mean, same thing. Like I was able to get in and get my work done. They're very passionate about baseball, and you know how to separate what you have to do and then what you get to do as well.
That is awesome that they're able to separate those two things. So I know it can be very, very hard trying to do both. Um, One last question on them. What was your weirdest gimmick that you were a part of?
So we had to do every in between the second and third, or the first and second inning. Can't remember exactly. You always had to do, or you didn't have to, but there would be 4 players for every home game chosen to do a player dance, which were usually pitchers because pitchers aren't always playing. Obviously, you can only have one pitcher. So I am normally not a very outgoing person, more so serious. So my college teammates get a kick that I actually went down there and played. But in between those innings, you have to do a player dance. And so we would actually, during BP that day, our dancing first base coach, who was a traveling choreographer, would come in and teach 4 or 5 of us a dance. We'd practice it all during BP, and then we'd practice it again during the first inning. And you'd go out there in between that inning, and we would perform for the whole stadium. And whether it was just it was insane. It's definitely was way out of my comfort zone, but I think it was good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, so just going into like a little bit about yourself, what is your favorite pitch to throw personally?
Anything that gets a swing and miss, that's my favorite one, honestly.
No, I know that feeling. Um, and obviously baseball is very superstitious, and personally as a ex-pitcher, I think that we were the most superstitious out of all the baseball players. What is your weird superstition?
Oh gosh, I've got a couple. Um, so I'm very routine oriented. I'll call it routine. Some people can call it superstition, whatever you want to call it. Um, so normally on the day that I pitch, I'll get up around the same time, kind of eat the same thing on all the days that I pitch. Um, I guess a weirder one is that in between every inning, I'll have 2 cups of water. Doesn't matter how big or how small the cups are. It's always two. And if I don't drink two, I kind of feel off and I don't like it as much. So I mean, if we have a long inning of us hitting a ton and scoring a bunch of runs, and I'm thirsty, I just kind of suck it up and go with my two cups of water. Something kind of interesting. And then on that, I'm drinking obviously a ton of water, so I don't use the bathroom during a game either. So sometimes whenever I get to the end of a game, it's like, all right, we've got to we got to go now. So
Yeah, that's baseball is already superstitious, and then pitchers just take it to another level. That's
oh yeah, yeah.
um. So I saw also that you were a captain last year. Are you as captain this year as well?
Yeah, I am. So it's been a great experience learning that and being able to get actually me and the two other captains last year are the same captains this year. So we've gotten 2 years to kind of, as our coach calls it, kind of steering the bus and driving that and kind of taking it the way we want to. And it's been a great experience from just a leadership standpoint and leadership development. Our head coach has been doing this for a long time now. He's been coaching for 30 plus years now, I think, and 20 something at Belmont. So he definitely knows what he's doing and has done a great job of developing leadership qualities within us as well and giving us the reins to do what we need to do.
Yeah, exactly. And how do you feel that helps you going forward if it's, when you get drafted or, a future profession down the line, just what does that do for you in the
Yeah, I think
sense
it
of
gives me,
leadership?
yeah, it definitely gives me the confidence and just knowing that I do have experience leading people and having the ability to be that leader. Um, just because half the battle of being a good leader is having the confidence and knowing that you can be a good leader and be a leader in general, and knowing that you can captivate people's attention and not make them do what you want to do, but inspire them and motivate them to be the best they can be.
Good. We just got two more right here. Quick little fun questions. Who was your hardest hitter that you've ever faced?
So there was a guy my freshman year of college who ended up leading NCAA in walks in his career. You could get to him 2 strikes easy, no problem. But as soon as there was 2 strikes on him, I mean, it was practically impossible to strike him out or even honestly get him to put the ball in play a ton. He would get to 2 strikes and just start fouling off a bunch of pitches, and he would just make you throw more and more pitches, and it was infuriating. And you would throw a really good pitch, and you would take it, and he would just walk. And I remember one of my first, fall inter squads as a freshman facing him, and I was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, I was like, if this is every college hitter, then I am absolutely screwed. Luckily, it's not. But he's definitely been my toughest. Which the power guys don't necessarily scare me. They'll put the ball in play. You can get them out. But guys like that are what I just hate, just because they make you waste pitches and then they get on whenever they have no business getting on sometimes. So
Definitely, especially being like one of your first hitters. That's a tough intro to college ball.
absolutely.
And last one, just who would you love to pitch against, live or dead, whichever you want? Who would you love to have pitched against?
Just go with Mike Trout. I mean, I think, best player in baseball right now, him or Shohei Ohtani, either one, I don't care. I mean, they would probably destroy me right now, which is fine. But just to be able to say that, I was still on the field and got to pitch some of the greatest players in the game would be an amazing experience and something I would cherish forever.
Awesome. Great. Two great guys. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and talking with me. Really good luck the rest of the year, and we can't wait to see you in the summer.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
No problem.